Hello, Tiffany Capello here with a Transform Life, and welcome to my little fireside chat. It is super cold here in Ohio, and if you live anywhere in a northern climate, you know just how cold it can be. And I'm not good at translating Fahrenheit to Celsius, but it was 6 degrees here and then 11 degrees, and it's just so cold. So I'm really enjoying my little office and my little fireside, and now I'm looking forward to reaching out to you. And I was thinking this morning because spring is coming and I'm getting excited about it. It's the end of February, feels like December, but nevertheless, the end of February, and I'm starting to think about taking out my summer clothes and my shorts, my tank tops. And this is commonly the time of year, especially for women, where we think, oh, okay, I want to fit in that bathing suit again. And I might have gained a little body fat over winter. And that got me thinking about what life used to be like for me. I had severe body dysmorphia, and I just constantly criticized myself. I know I'm not the only one. I think it's particularly hard for women nowadays because of social media. I mean, you look at social media, you see all of these perfect people, and then there's the filters, there's all the editing, there's everything. And now you can even put abs in. And I've seen some social media videos lately that are super fake. Like, I'm thinking, there's no way that a woman's waist could be that small in proportion to the rest of her. So some people are a little over editing, and I think they don't even notice they're doing it. And it's obviously not true. But there's a lot of people out there that look great. And as women in particular, but it's not just women, it's men also, we tend to compare ourselves to other people all the time. And that's a habit I really had. About 15 years ago, I started working out, wanted to lose weight. Um, and I started to hang around gyms all the time. And I even decided to compete in bodybuilding a little bit, not the big giant muscle class. You can tell by looking at me, I don't belong there. But I wanted to really get in the best shape possible. So I hired a trainer, I meal prepped, I did all of this stuff. And I thought to myself, when I get competition level shape, when I get that in that much shape, I am going to feel so good about myself. I'll be in the best shape ever. And so I trained really hard. I trained for hours a day. I had a professional trainer. I was meticulous about my food intake. And I thought this was going to be the solution to my lifelong struggle with not liking how I looked and being critical of my appearance. And so what I did was I put in all this effort, and I learned something in the gym. I was in a competition type gym, and it was interesting because I realized that the people there who were training for the competitions, who were really serious about looking great, were often the most insecure people, the most hard on themselves, and the most displeased with their own appearance out of anyone you'd ever meet, way more than the general population. Now, you might think, well, okay, they're hard on themselves because it's a sport, and there's some truth to that. But here I was trying to deal with the way I looked and not liking the way I looked by becoming the best version of myself. Now, that's not a bad idea. But as I've said before, you should never want to be the best version of yourself because you think the way you are now is bad, wrong, inadequate, ugly. You should want to be the best version of yourself because you love and care for yourself. Okay. And I think there was a little bit of that. Okay. But a lot of it for me was that I thought I was not enough. I felt inadequate the way I was. And if I could just get more perfect, I would be okay. And the gym was filled with people who thought the same way. So, what do you think happened? Take a guess. I got in the best shape of my life. I actually won. I won first place for 45 and over. Did pretty good in the general categories. I worked so hard. I was proud of myself. I don't regret it. But do you think that I stopped criticizing myself? Do you think that I suddenly felt like I was okay? I didn't. So, because I've always been skinny, and I don't mean skinny, not overweight. I mean, I'm just not big and muscly. And so I found myself going to competitions, going to the gym, and comparing myself with other women and think, oh, I look down at my legs and go, oh my God, they're like twigs. I look so awful. And I found myself thinking that very thought. So if I look in the mirror and here I am ready to go up on stage for a bikini competition at a bodybuilding level, and I'm thinking I look awful. Okay. Obviously, it didn't look awful. But in my mind, I really did. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see my hard work. I saw how skinny my legs were. And I thought, oh my God, I got to build more muscle. And I just kept focusing on my inadequacies. Now, here's why. Because when you have a brain that has a habitual pattern of focusing on what's wrong with you, it just keeps doing that. And there's no dance that you can dance that will make it stop. There's no shenanigans or ways to twist yourself into a pretzel that's going to make that stop. You're not ever going to get to the point where you have had enough surgeries, where you've had enough different hairstyles, where you've put on enough makeup, where you've exercised, transformed yourself enough for you to now not have the voice in your head. Because the voice in your head isn't there because you're not adequate. The voice in your head, my tongue is always getting tied up. The voice in your head is there because it was programmed in. We've talked about that a lot, that we respond to life, we think in accordance with the way our brain was programmed. No baby comes into this world, and as their diaper's being changed, looks down at their thighs and thinks, oh, what horrible thighs I have. Look at all those fat rolls. No one does this. Okay. You don't see the average 2-year-old, looking in the mirror thinking, gosh, I don't like my nose. Okay. No, they don't do that. This is something we learn. It's programmed in through our peers, through the culture. Well, I have to say, I feel really bad for teenagers and young adults and even older women because it's never been more difficult to feel good about yourself than in the age of social media and filters and editing. That's why I don't edit my videos. And I'll be honest, even there was a little bit of that left when I even started making videos on YouTube. I wanted to start making YouTubes on video. God, my brain. I wanted to start making videos on YouTube 2 years before I actually did. What do you think stopped me? I would make the video. I would look at the video and I would think, do I look like that? Oh my God, am I that ugly? I mean, I would actually have this thought, okay? And so I wouldn't make the video. Or I would remake the video from all different angles with all different kinds of lighting, trying to erase the fact that I'm not 20 anymore, okay? And I wouldn't make videos if the lighting wasn't perfect. I wouldn't make videos outdoors because you could tell I looked all wrinkly. Or if I shot a video from the wrong angle, I'd be like, oh, God. And I'll be honest with you, I still can't do that. If it's totally the wrong angle, I'm probably not going to post it. But anyway, so it's not, you're never going to be able to appease that voice because you are not the problem. It's the programming that is the problem. And I've seen it over and over again working with people. Women think if I just lose weight, I'll feel good about myself. A lot of times you don't, okay? They lose weight and they never think they're beautiful enough, thin enough, tall enough, muscular enough, skinny enough. And I noticed at the gym that the women who were super skinny wanted to be muscular, and the women that were muscular sometimes wanted to be super skinny, and there was just no way to win, okay? But I want you to think about something. Think about all the children you know, okay? The little children, the little tiny girls and boys. And when you think about them and you were to go in a kindergarten classroom, you would see there's all different shades of hair. There's all different shapes of noses. There's all different sizes. We all have different skin tones, colors, races, cultures, all of that. And you look through that kindergarten room and you don't look around and think, oh, gosh, Only one of those children is pretty. The rest of them are all ugly. At least I hope you don't think that, okay? And it's the diversity in the world that makes the world a beautiful place. So think about it this way. If you were to plant a garden, imagine you're going to plant a garden and you're only going to plant yellow marigolds. That's it, the whole garden, yellow marigolds. Okay, it's probably not going to be a very nice looking garden. Okay, I mean, maybe you really like yellow marigolds, but have you ever seen anyone that's done an excellent job at landscaping? They have plants in different colors, varieties, sizes, shapes, textures, and they arrange it in such a way as to make that garden incredibly beautiful. And it's that way with the world. It's the diversity in this world that makes the world a beautiful place. I want you to think about your best friend. Okay, the person that's not your spouse or lover, but your best friend, the person you like more than anyone else. But then imagine that you could just erase the entire world population and clone your best friend. Okay, that would get boring quick. Okay, even though you love this person, if every single person looked like your best friend, every single person looked like your husband, okay, it doesn't matter how much you love that person, the world would be boring and meaningless. Okay, we all have our preferences, we all have our unique appearance and our own personalities and characteristics, and that diversity is what makes the world a beautiful place. If every one of your children looked, acted, spoke exactly the same, it would be like having a house full of robots. We understand this when it comes to other people, but then what we do to ourselves is we always pick the most perfect person, and then we think, I want to be like that person. And because I'm not like that person, I'm not okay. And you are not supposed to be that person. The world needs all kinds of people. The world needs people with your personality. And you think to yourself, well, I'm kind of sensitive. I cry easy. I think too much. All the things we criticize ourselves for are often the most beautiful parts of ourselves. I remember thinking to myself, well, I was told this actually by different people in my past, that you think too much. You know, your brain never shuts up. You never shut up. And I would think, my God, I talk too much. I think too much. Maybe there's something wrong with the way my brain functions. I would place labels on myself. I was told I was too skinny. I was told I was blonde and therefore stupid. All of these opinions of other people. People form these opinions of you in an effort to elevate themselves and make themselves feel superior because of their own inferiorities. If you think about the school bully or the mean girls that picked on you, that was it. Now, here's the problem when the mean girl is still in your head, and that's what many of you, and I'm mostly talking to women right now, but it does apply to men as well. You have a mean girl in your head that is tormenting you and telling you you're never enough no matter what you do. And it's time to get rid of her. It's time for you to acknowledge that you are exactly who you are supposed to be. You are where you are supposed to be. You have the personality you're supposed to be. Does that mean you're perfect? No, but you're perfectly imperfect the way you are. Does that mean you don't have crap you need to change about yourself because you need to mature more? Nope, it doesn't mean that. But you can love yourself, accept yourself, and feel enough right where you're at today without feeling you have to change. Because when you are trying to be someone else, or you're not going to be satisfied with yourself until you reach a certain level, you're chasing an illusion, because that will never materialize. The minute you get there, you're going to find something else to criticize if that's the way your brain works. It's an illusion. Perfection is an illusion. You being what you are not is an illusion. And so often we look out there and we see these people, nothing like us. We say, I need to be like that to be okay. Because the world, because social media, because the kids in my high school, because my ex-boyfriend said this is what is acceptable, this is what beauty looks like. How dare these people create the standard by which you now live? Don't let them have power over you anymore. You are beautiful just the way you are. Does that mean you can't lose weight or dye your hair? No. Be the very best you, but just be you. And I hope that helps somebody today. I wish someone had pointed out to me years ago that I was okay the way I was. And thank God I can now walk in a gym, look beautiful women, young women, and not feel like a loser because I don't have this, that, or the other characteristic. And I know you can too. Look yourself in the mirror today and say it's okay that you don't look like anybody else. You're not supposed to. You are your own unique, beautiful flower in the garden of this world.